Pocono Mountains of eastern Pennsylvania often play host to skiing, snowboarding, and honeymoons in the wintertime. In the summer, however, the stock car circus comes to Long Pond of the Pocono Raceway for 400 miles of bad fast racing at the Tricky Triangle. Hi, hello, and good afternoon, race fans. It's a hot June afternoon in the Pocono Mountains as we're here for today's coverage of the NR2003 Mission BBQ Cup Series race, the Jack Frost Big Boulder Ski Resort 400. Once again, welcome everybody to today's Intercast on the North American Sim Racing Network. My name is Trey Wright, and while the length suggests it to be a super speedway, no track on the MBCS schedule races quite like Pocono. 3 different turns of all different radii and banking, 3 different straightaways, all encompassing the most unique course we go to at the Cup Series, living up to its nickname, the Tricky Triangle. Thomas Troxel is among the drivers who has had a trick up his sleeve to win here at Pocono, but it's his teammate Alex Lozano who remains atop the point standings coming into race 16. Among the new drivers inside the top 10 are Daniel Bouchard, Bradley Ream, and Campbell Marsh. And even though he is inside the top 10 with his second win of the season last week at Diamond Ridge, Bradley Ream has the best shot to make the chase on either points or wins as long as he stays inside the top 30 in points. That Shell Pennzoil number 2 machine has a decent shot to fight for a championship along with everybody else inside the top 10. A couple of wildcard drivers clinging on as of right now, but a lot can happen through 400 miles here at the Pocono Raceway. Like we saw last year, Logan Alexander was able to get his second win of the season to help move his way towards fighting for a championship last year in 2024. But it's hard to believe that we're already nearing the midway point through the entire 2025 season here. But after the off week we have for this upcoming week, the 2025 Duncan Week of Speed will kick off at the Hillside International Speedway next Monday, June 29th, to begin this 7-race stretch all across the week of 4th of July here on the NESRN. 5 MBCS races and 2 FMGTC races are all on the docket, but focusing on the Cup side of things, we'll once again be doing an in-season tournament just like we did last year. The top 16 drivers will be placed in a knockout bracket to decide who wins the Duncan Week of Speed, and with the stakes being raised even higher and the prize points being raised higher as well, it is a big opportunity for drivers to earn some bonus points. And the brand new format is as follows. For the 2025 Duncan Week of Speed, the top 16 drivers will advance after race number 1, with 10 bonus points going to each of those drivers. Then coming out of race number 2, with the back end of the Hillside doubleheader, the top 8 will then advance, each getting 15 bonus points. Then we'll whittle it down to our final 4 after Papyrus, each of those drivers getting 20 bonus points. 25 bonus points will then be given to the 2 drivers after that, after Boston, and whoever finishes ahead of the other driver after the Samuel Adams Firecracker 400 at the Coca-Cola Superspeedway, the winner of the Duncan Week of Speed will gain an additional 50 bonus points here to win the 2025 Duncan Week of Speed sweepstakes. A grand total of 120 bonus points are on the line here for whoever will win the Duncan Week of Speed. We saw Bradley Ream ride last year's win of the Duncan Week of Speed sweepstakes to a hot streak where he was able to make his way into the chase. So it is that important that drivers try to chase after this tournament win. That is, of course, then, this is now. It's hard to believe how fast this track is at first glance, but you whip around each and every corner at breakneck speed here at Pocono. Even the tunnel turn in turn 2, which today will likely be Calamity Corner right on the start. All 3 turns are different, and they were all modeled after corners of tracks that we already go to here in the MBCS, and some drivers who have won at those tracks have won here at the Tricky Triangle. Turn 1 is modeled after the Trenton Raceway. Logan Alexander has won both here and there. Turn number 2, the tunnel turn, is patterned after the corners of Indianapolis. While nobody has won here that has won at Indy, Nathan Stapleton does start high in the field, and he looks to keep the trend going. And the flat turn 3, taken from the Milwaukee Mile. No surprise that the Wisconsinite Logan Williams has taken home victories both here and there. Drivers typically like to set up their cars for that third turn to roll through the center of the corner, but if you master your machine for one turn here at Pocono, the other 2 may become problematic. But hey, that's just the Tricky Triangle for you, and it's time to get on the go here in Pocono. Let's go downstairs to get the most famous words in motorsports to crank 'em up for the Jack Frost Big Boulder Ski Resort 400.
Drivers, start your engines!
And 42 Gen 4 cars roar to life here on the pit lane at Pocono. We're all ready for 400 miles of tricky triangular action here this afternoon. Braden Perez sits on the pole position in the number 92 Hulu Toyota Camry. Second straight race that a Pacific Racing car has sat on the pole position. He's looking for his first win since the Daytona 500 back in 2024. Juan Rodriguez starts to the outside of him to complete row number 1. Nathan Stapleton starts to the outside of Igor Barreto for row number 2. Like we said in the pre-race show, Stapleton has won at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. He's trying to translate that here to the track in Long Pond. Stapleton's will go down the Long Pond straightaway. And it's a pair of Matts there, making up row number 3. Matthew Hubert starts to the outside of Matt Wolf to make up the first 6 starting spots here. Field rolls down the Long Pond straightaway. See how long of a course it is here as we get a flyby of the field. The field goes through the tunnel turn. It's going to be a 40-lap race. The stage is concluding laps 10 and 25. Tunnel turn is going to be the most calamity here at the Pocono Raceway. A lot of Logans have won this race here in the past. Jonathan Logan won back in 2020, Logan Williams in 21, Troxel in 22, and Logan Alexander won back in 2024. Logan Williams starts deep in the field in 29th, Troxel in 25th, Logan Alexander starts all the way up in 7th, looking for his second win of the season. Field rolls through turn number 3. The Dodge Challenger pace car will head towards the pit area. Perez leads the field past the turn 4 side over in turn 3. Entering this 3/4 of a mile long front stretch here, they trundle. Field will go through the Reese's restart zone. Green flag is out and away. We're underway here at the Tricky Triangle. Braden Perez will come around to lead lap number 1 here under speed. Got the jump on the outside lane over Juan Rodriguez and saw a couple of cars getting the outside wall off of turn 2. One of them was a 27 of Rogel Dorn. So he's got a little bit of damage there in that 27 machine. He's to the inside as he goes 3 wide right behind him. Carson Miller on the low side. A couple of rookies down to the low side. That 71 car of Mitchell Collins. 3 wide going through the tunnel turn. May not work. This is going to get tight coming off for the corner back in here. They're able to keep it straight for now. Collins falling back in the 71. They remain 3 wide back in here. Dano Georgi looking to pass 3 cars in one corner. Slides up the racetrack and he'll take a couple spots away. Deep in the field, it is full buffet. All the way in the back. Meanwhile, Braden Perez leads the way in that 92 machine. Meanwhile, Juan Rodriguez thought about making it 3 wide. He hooks Barreto. What a save out of that 13 car. Oh my goodness, Juan Rodriguez being aggressive on lap number 3, and it nearly cost both him and Barreto. What a save out of the driver, that Valvoline Charger. That's going to stack things up just a little bit, and Braden Perez says thank you very much for all the clean air and all the space out in front of me. He's essentially running qualifying laps right now in that 92 car. That is probably some of the best driving that I have seen out of Igor Barreto so far this season. Still looking for that first win of 2025. He nearly had that taken away from him, and Juan Rodriguez nearly killing half the field there. trying to make a 3-wide dive bomb move to the low side. He's going to pay the price for it just a little bit. Lost all of his momentum. He fell back to 7th. He might fall outside the top 10, being stuck on that outside lane there in that HTO number 48 car. Both he and his team owner of Alexander Rowe have had their fair share of a little bit of action so far in the early stages of this race. Matt Wolf will take second away from Igor Barreto, and look now, Logan Alexander will try to take second away from Matt Wolf. He's going to get a good draft down this 3/4 of a mile long straightaway. It's the longest straightaway we go to here in the Mission Barbecue Cup Series. Alexander riding all the way down the low side. Both he and Matt Wolf have won at the Trenton Fairgrounds Raceway. They roll through turn number 1, which that turn was modeled after. Nathan Stapleton rolling through the corner in turn 2. The top turn they go. Everybody making their way towards the front end of this field. In case you're just tuning in, you missed a great save out of Igor Barreto, but other than that, it's been the Braden Perez show for the early stages of this contest. He leads over Logan Alexander by half a second that last time by. We'll see what the interval is this time around. Widening the gap there just a little bit is that 92 car. Stapleton and Alexander fighting for the penultimate position. Danny Fallington looking for his first win on an oval, right behind them in 4th. 3 wide off of the corner. Toby Murphy thought about making it 4 wide going down Long Pond. It's going to get tight coming off for the corner here. 3 wide. Igor Barreto on the high side. Caleb Rose making some moves. A couple of Gazoo Racing teammates. Side by side in the back, everybody remains on the track for now. Our deep back in there was Alexander Rowe, and everybody is within 5 seconds of one another, still in contention for this race win. Pocono is truly all about track position here for the Tricky Triangle. It's all about where you start, and being able to get that pole has paid dividends so far for Braden Perez. Started up front, got the clean air right off the jump, nearly had the whole field junked behind him, and he's looking pretty right now in that Hulu Toyota Camry. Toyota, Ford, Chevrolet, Toyota, your OEMs for the top 5. Dodge back in there to round out the top 6. Matt Wolf struggling a little bit on that outside lane. Esteban Lasser making some moves down the low side. He'll get past Matt Wolf, who's going to lose 3 spots here, going through turn number 3. Trying to find his way back down to that inside lane. But now the gap there for the race lead, dwindling quite a lot that last time by. Logan Alexander catching up to the back end of Braden Perez. Both Alexander and Perez have been racing alongside each other for the entirety of their career. Both of these drivers were rookies back in 2021. Of course, Logan Alexander having a little bit more victory lane success than Braden Perez. Nathan Stapleton down at the low side. I can't remember the last time Nathan Stapleton has won a race. It's been quite a while, I know that. He'll go to the low side as Logan Alexander gets posted up high. Fallington to the inside of the 58 as the field begins to get a little strung out here. Everybody now 5 seconds apart from one another. 3 wide for 3rd on back. Caleb Rose forces the issue in that tied ride. 2 laps to go already in stage number 1. Nathan Stapleton has 2 career wins to his name. It's been a while for DeBig Staple as well here on the Cup side of things. Won the first ever race at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and then won at Atlanta in a fuel mileage end to that contest all the way back in 2022. He's not found any sort of success as a driver yet in this new, I guess you could call it 3rd generation of MBCS cars. They had the 1st generation where we used the ICR mod, and then the Cup 2000 cars. And now effective last season, we used the Cup 05 mod, which is and very, very beautiful. We've used ever since. Here on the MBCS side of things, the field goes down the long pond straightaway once again. Final lap here in stage number 1. Braden Perez looking to go wire to wire here in the opening segment. Stapleton trying to change that. He's got to look down to the inside, and he's going to have a ledge going through turn 3. Stapleton being very careful not to wash up the racetrack, and out of turn number 3, Nathan Stapleton will see the green and white checkered flag here. Stage 1 winner. That'll go to the big staple there in car number 97. Matthew Huber will get the final stage point. Again, stage number 2 here at the Tricky Triangle. Everybody's still in this contest here. Alexander Rowe and Alexander Dole, a pair of Alexes. Caboosing this tail end of the field right now. 84 and 96 cars respectively. Same thing for Charlie Davenport and car number 98. Typically it's a hornet's nest towards the tail end of this field here, but everybody getting strung out. Everybody's tires beginning to wear out here just a little bit. Braden Perez will get back around Nathan Stapleton to take the race lead away, and here we go. Double file for second on back. Racing towards the front of this field is going to get very, very interesting as the 2 Pacific Racing cars up inside the top 10. Going 1-2. Brendan Wilmington trying to join that parade. He's marred deep in the field in that 34th spot. Stapleton hung up on that outside lane. Esteban Lacer down to the low side. Double file going through the tunnel turn, and those 2 drivers will make it work going through the corner. Reggie Fogelman makes it 3 wide through turn 3. That's going to be in the opposite favor of Nathan Stapleton. Gets posted out to the outside lane. Fogelman gets a 2-for-1 Saturday special. He'll go to third in car number 3. Could today be the day that Reggie Fogelman finally finds Gatorade victory lane? We're going to race 16. I believe he's at the 0 for 50 straight right now. He is indeed 0 for 50, and NBCS starts. Moved over to Chevy Power Racing over in the off-season. Battle for the race lead, heating up. Caleb Rose to the point, won the pole last week at Diamond Ridge. And he's going for the race lead underneath of his Pacific Racing teammate in the Tide Ride back out front. Like I said last week, it's been a little while since Caleb Rose has gone to Gatorade victory lane, but he is the winningest driver for Pacific Racing in their stable. Three wins to Caleb Rose's name. While Braden Perez looking for the crossover move down the long pond straightaway going into the tunnel turn. Perez has also got 3 wins under his belt. So if any of these guys are able to win this afternoon's race, they would take the lead of the most races ran or won here by a driver for Pacific Racing. But here comes the CPR car of Reggie Fogelman. I tell you guys what, Eric Monaco's program has absolutely come to life over this last month or so. You got Eric Monaco winning the fuel mileage race at Atlanta all the way back, what was that, about March-ish? And we thought, you know, at the time it was a little bit of a fluke. You know, it's fuel mileage. We typically see that here at Pocono, but it's a little bit of a fuel mileage race. But Bradley Ream dominated Charlotte, won last week at Diamond Ridge, and now Reggie Fogelman looking to put all 3 CPR cars in Gatorade victory lane this season. Still a long way to go in this race. 10 laps to go before our only pit cycle will kick off here as Caleb Rose goes back down to the low side as Reggie Fogelman fill in that gap on the low end. Believe he will, so Fogelman will go the wrong way. Braden Perez continues to dominate here, has led all but 2 laps so far in the Jack Frost Big Boulder Ski Resort 400. Got Hulu Camry running on rails so far in this contest. Alex Lozano losing the tail end of the field there. I believe he got up in the marbles going through turn 1. Able to gather that FedEx machine back up and going. Not a great start to the race for your points leader, and we'll have to see if he'll be the number 1 seed going to the Duncan Week of Speed. Alexander Rowe marred back in there as well, and Esteban Lasserre is going to have a good opportunity if those two continue to kind of screw around in the back there. And Lasserre's able to keep his nose clean this week. He'll be able to take the points lead on the top seed going into the Duncan Week of Speed. Starting in just a little over 2 weeks' time on June 29th. Part of that week-long series of races, and I cannot wait. The Duncan Week of Speed is always fun, mostly because you're recording everything in sequential order, and it's just races back to back to back every single day. You've got the Hillside doubleheader on the 29th, the Canada Day Classic on the 30th. You got Papyrus on the 1st, Boston on the 2nd. Actually, no, Papyrus. I think July 2nd is the only day we're not having anything. Or July 1st. Let me double check the schedule of that. Yeah, July 2nd, we don't have anything. It's the one day that week where we don't have any sort of races. The 29th is the doubleheader. The 30th is the Canada Day Classic for the first race for the FMGTC. Then the 1st and the 3rd are Papyrus in Boston. Then on July 4th, we go down a little bit south to Watkins Glen for the Firecracker at the Glen. One of the crown jewel races for the Flowmaster Grand Touring Championship. And then we go back up north to Coca-Cola. And then we got an off week after that before we enter the final 5-race slate of the regular season. It certainly is a grind, and that week really just truncates things a little bit for the month of July. But that's the fun part here of running a tournament-style race. But of course, this is now focusing on this race. Braden Perez continues to dominate in car number 92. Fastest lap belonging to the 48 of Juan Rodriguez, who currently sits in the 9th spot behind Toby Murphy. Just inside the top 10, trying to get some more stage points there for that H2O Ford Taurus, Ford Fusion I should say. Nobody has come down the pit lane just yet, but this is the point in the run where everybody is just content on running single file and sometimes double file. If you've got to run down to the low side, everybody's Hoosiers are worn out. You're losing a little bit of control and you don't want to do anything too egregious like we saw Rodriguez do on Barreto. The only reason Barreto was able to make that save because that was right at the beginning of the race. The tires were nice and hot after a couple of laps. They still had a lot of grip on them. And he was able to make an incredible save to keep this race caution-free so far. Could potentially see a yellow here in the next couple of laps, but we got 5 laps to go in stage number 2. Just about that same amount of time, that's when the pit window is going to open here at the Pocono Raceway. Glad to have everybody aboard here for race number 16, the 2025 season, approaching the midway point through the season in its entirety, and what a season it's been. Here to the inside goes Reggie Fogelman of the race leader of Braden Perez, side by side going into the tunnel turn. They still drag race it down the short chute. Perez looking for a run on the outside of the corner, going through flat turn 3. Reggie Fogelman will take the top spot. See what Perez is able to do coming around to 4 laps to go here in stage number 2. No early takers on the pit lane just yet. Esteban Lasser up to 5th. Here he comes trying to make that battle work for 4th. He's looking to set sail as Reggie Fogelman leads his first lap of the day, and now Braden Perez might be in danger of falling all the way down to 3rd if he's not careful. Caleb Rose to the inside of Braden going through turn 2. If I'm Braden, I'm not trying to use up my stuff trying to race my teammate on the outside. I'm backing it down here going through turn 3, and that's exactly what he's going to do, but Esteban Lasser with an aggressive move to the low side. Put that 64 car down low, and now Braden Perez is a little bit trapped on that outside lane. Falls down to 4th there as Lasser will take 3rd. 3 laps to go until stage number 3 will begin here and stage 2 ends. Lasser making some moves to the front end of this field. Reggie Fogelman looking for his first stage win of 2025. It's been a while since Reggie Fogelman has been in Gatorade victory lane here on the NASRN. His only win coming at the Daytona 2.4 back last year in 2024. Right now, he's in good position to try to get his first ever stage win at the Cup level. He could be in position with a good pit stop here to put himself in contention for his first ever win and allow Chevy Power Racing to be the first team this season to have all of their cars be inside Gatorade victory lane. It's been a smorgasbord of teams trying to get the job done. You know, and Appleseed Racing's only got 1 win. Same thing for Stealth Motorsports. Their guys have only got 1 win as well. Caleb Rose with a big toe off the short chute. Trying to draft the rear end of that 3 machine. They're going to be nose to tail coming off turn number 3. Final lap here in stage number 2. Reggie Fogelman trying to lead them back to the line. Caleb Rose down to the low side there in that 32 machine. The Tide Ride of the Coke car. Door to door through turn number 1. Down Long Pond they go here for the final time in stage number 2. Nobody down the pit lane just yet. Focused on this battle back in here. Fogelman trying to make the outside lane work. Caleb Rose down to the low side, and Rose trying to utilize that inside lane. There's still door-to-door going through the short chute. I think Caleb's definitely going to have the advantage going through the corner, and Fogelman might lose second here to Matthew Hubert. Those two will be side by side through the flat number turn 3. Braden Perez will come down the pit lane here, as stage number 2 is won here by Caleb Rose, and Braden Perez will sacrifice some stage points in that number 92 car. As the pit cycle will officially begin here, and Braden Perez is a lone Toyota on the service area right now. Coming all the way down here, as we'll have to see who else will come down the pit lane this time by. It is an extreme undercut there for that Pacific Racing number 92 camp. Only 2 tires going on Braden Perez as he is out and away. Caleb Rose looks to be coming down the pit lane this time by. He indeed will. Riley Sampson is able to take the race lead away. He'll lead a lap. Gonna have some more takers come down the pit lane. About a third of the field will hit the service area here. And it's go time here in the pit area. We'll follow along with Caleb Rose as he takes that Tide Ride down. Some contact in the back there. I believe that was Rogel Dorn who ran into the back of Mitchell Collins. Some more pit lane chicanery there, not going the way. Actually, it was Logan Alexander who got ramrodded into. Caleb Rose is out and away. Where is Braden Perez? Perez right now is going to be... He's going to jump Actually, he's going to jump Hubert and Barreto. He's not going to jump Rose. So the rest of the field will come in. You got a couple of stragglers coming out, but it is feeding time on the pit lane. John Anders was going to hit the attenuator there, but nonetheless, everybody coming down in the pit area here. We'll follow with Reggie Fogelman in car number 3. Fogelman out, or trying to get out and away. A little bit of contact there between Riley Sampson. Sampson, I believe, only took Sampson took 2 tires there. We'll have to see how this will all shake out as we got a couple more cars coming down the pit lane. Here's the race off of the pit area. Riley Sampson trying to book into that 24, but going all the way around on the high side is that 32 of Caleb Rose. He's able to get around Braden Perez, and Caleb Rose will lead the field. Coming on here with about 12 laps to go next time by, and a couple more stragglers will exit the pit lane. Cole Sampson stayed out to lead a lap that time by, and he's got a long way down the pit lane there in that 5 machine. He's out and away. Now it's a duel between a couple of Pacific Racing teammates. Riley Sampson had a good pit stop, but he's under fire from Reggie Fogelman. And this is going to be a fantastic battle to the end here so far. It's been a caution-free Jack Frost Big Boulder Ski Resort 400. So far, we could see some chicanery later on in the race as Cole Sampson will file back to where he was. Once everybody cycles all around, I believe Braden Perez, he goes to the inside of Caleb Rose there in the 92. I believe these 2 Pacific Racing guys should have about 3-second lead over Reggie Fogelman and company, as Fogelman will put that 3 car in position number 3. Igor Barreto's not done yet in that 13 car. He'll go up to 4th. Riley Sampson right now fighting with Hubert for 5th. Perez looking to lead wire to wire here. At the Pocono Raceway, 11 laps to go in the Jack Frost Big Boulder Ski Resort 400. It's been a heck of a race so far for Braden Perez in that 92 machine. Looking to end a pretty big over drought, a 49 race winless streak for Braden Perez coming into this afternoon's race. Would like to end that here today. I think most importantly, Brandon Wilmington would love to have one of his 3 cars in Gatorade victory lane. His other 2 cars right now have been nose to tail for pretty much the entirety of this race as they go down the front straightaway. Perez, Rose, got a 2-second lead over Reggie Fogelman, who's got a little bit of clean air in front of him. Hubert and, Riley Sampson's got the ledge over that 13 car going down Long Pond there. That's your top 5. And of course, bookending the tail end of the field is Brendan Wilmington, so Pacific Racing has an opportunity to do something that I don't think I've ever seen. First, second, and last. It's not a good pit stop there for Brendan Wilmington that last time by. 10 laps to go, now 9 laps to go here from the Tricky Triangle. Talk about Braden Perez, how dominant that 92 car has been all afternoon so far. There's the gap there between first, second, and third. It continues to get just a little bit bigger. The whole field now strung out. But it's going to be a dogfight between these 2 Camrys up here, but I think they're realizing that they need to run nose to tail, get out away from striking distance from Reggie Fogelman, and probably on the last 5, maybe the last 4 or 3 laps, I would gauge as one Brandon Wilmington is going to come on the air and say, duke it out yourselves, guys, as long as one of us gets the win. Talk about the runs that Caleb Rose has had over these last couple of weeks. He has been a pole machine. He might have a ledge to the inside of Braden Perez. There he goes. Rose, whose heart was broken to a million pieces after a good run at Charlotte. Down to the low side underneath of his Pacific Racing teammates. Side by side through the tunnel turn they go. Perez with the run on the outside lane, still door to door going through 3. Caleb Rose will take the top spot away. We'll have to see how Perez tries to cross over that 32 car. Coming back out, but remember, Caleb Rose does have fresher tires than Braden Perez. They're only by 1 lap, so the margin isn't going to be that significant, but I certainly think that Caleb Rose definitely has the better chance here to win than Braden Perez. For Perez, it's toss up your shoulders and say, hey, I guess the Ofer streak will now reach 50, but Caleb Rose looking to be the all-time winningest driver here for Pacific Racing. Still a lot of racing to go. The gap between those two drivers, 0.3 of a second that last time by. And Reggie Fogelman is coming. He was able to close in that gap by 1/4 of a second. And if these two continue to swap the lead, Fogelman is going to make this a 3-car battle for this win. He's within camera range right now. 6 laps to go. What's the gap between those two? It's knocked down another 0.3 of a second. Fogelman is coming in that 3-car, and he's coming hard. 3 wide going through turn 1. Esteban Lasser to the low side of a couple of Appleseed cars. Samson caught in the middle there, and Keegan Thompson trying to give his car that outside lane to work with just a little bit. Lasser stuffs that 64 down into the corner. Not able to quite get around that 24 car. That's the battle for 5th. Perez right back on the back bumper of this 32. Jaws theme playing here for Reggie Fogelman. However, 5 laps to go. The interval between the top two, 1/10 of a second. Fogelman continues to close in. He knocks it down another 1/10. Perez down to the low side of Rose once again. Perez knows that his tires are just a smidge older than Caleb Rose's. These two teammates duking it out, but they got to be careful that one of them is going to get this win. You want a Toyota Gazoo car to go to Gatorade Victory Lane. You want a Pacific Racing car to go to Gatorade Victory Lane. The question is, who wants it more? And the other question is, can Reggie Fogelman make this a 3-car battle? I think he certainly is. Perez will go to the point here underneath of Rose. Fogelman is there. He's within a second of the lead, making a 4-car battle as Matthew Hubert will come into this battle here with 4 laps to go. And Reggie Fogelman had a fantastic exit out of 3. He's got to run to the inside of Caleb Rose for the 2nd spot. Fogelman is there. He charges around the 32, and now Braden Perez may be a sitting duck there in that 92 car. Fogelman's first career race came in the last race that Braden Perez won. Those two drivers have similar 0 for streaks. Matthew Hubert trying to end an 0 for 25 race streak of his own in that 23 car. Caleb Rose will go to the outside. Does he try the crossover move going through turn 3? Will bide his time for now. And the yellow flag is out. Somebody has gone around. It's Thomas Troxel and Elijah Gordon going around. And hold the phone, folks. First caution of the afternoon coming late in the race, and for the 2nd race in a row, we will have a green-white checkered finish. It looks like Mitchell Collins caught a piece of that as well. And the yellow flag flies here for the first time today. Braden Perez saying thank you, baby Jesus, for that yellow flag. If I'm not mistaken, I believe we had a yellow flag last year as well. And a green-white checkered as well last year. I could be mistaken, but that 92 car. Braden Perez will be your race leader. They're not going to come down the pit lane once again, I would gauge. That caution came out of absolutely nowhere, and if anybody can help me to figure out why these cars, especially under the caution, the leaders blink sometimes like they're doing, that would be well appreciated. I've never seen that. It wasn't until this season that we saw the leaders blink. But Braden Perez leads them back here, and we are going to have a green-white checkered finish for the second straight race. Before we get to that, we're going to quickly review what happened between Thomas Troxell and Elijah Gordon to bring out the first caution of the afternoon here in the Jack Frost Big Boulder Ski Resort 400. So this is quite peculiar as Thomas Troxell gets forced into the wall by Elijah Gordon, and, well, he caught the safer barrier there, about the worst place possible. Destroy that vitamin water 00. As the field was about to enter turn number 3. Elijah Gordon will ride the Lightning all the way on the high side, and unlike we saw with Rogel Dorn and Michael Lewis last week, fortunately nobody else was caught up in that, but Thomas Troxell here at the site of his first ever win in the Mission Barbecue Cup Series will be the first car out of the race and will set up a green-white checkered finish. Let's get another look at it. One final look at this accident, and that might be something that we're going to have to patch up here. Going into next year's race, a tough break for the Edmonton, Alberta native of Thomas Troxell, won this race back in 2022. And sets us up for a 2-lap dash to the end. Braden Perez will lead the field back around here to the green flag. Nobody came down the pit lane. We'll see what Perez is able to do on the restart here. It's green-white checkered time here in the Pocono Mountains of Pennsylvania. We return to the Pocono Raceway, cleaning up our first caution of the afternoon. Thomas Troxell was the only car that got sent to the garage area after that weird incident. Going into turn number 3, 41 cars are still on the racetrack. Logan Alexander with a lot of rear-end damage after being hit from behind there. I believe it was on the pit lane by Roberto Crown Jr. It's going to be a 2-lap dash to the end of this race. Braden Perez on 1 lap older tires, and pretty much everybody here inside the top 10 will start from the lead. The pole sitter looking to go wire to wire and trying to snap a 49 race winless streak. Reggie Fogelman, 0 for 50 in that category, looking for his first win here at the Cup level. Caleb Rose looking for his first win of the season. Same thing with Matthew Hubert, looking to be yet another rookie to find Gatorade victory lane here in 2025. Esteban Lasser starts in 5th. Dodge Challenger pace car is back down the pit area. Braden Perez looks for the green flag to change from yellow to green. They're through the Reese's restart zone. Sticks are high in the air. 2 laps to go for the tricky triangle. Braden Perez with a fantastic start there in that 92 will lead the field going through turn number 1, and it's already an Oklahoma land rush on back. Lasser to the inside of Hubert. Keegan Thompson looking to make his way to the front end of this field as well. Braden Perez is trying to drive that Hulu Camry like he stole it. Reggie Fogelman not quite done yet. Haven't seen what any of these cars have been able to do on the short run here. Fogelman's going to have a ledge down to the low side of Braden Perez. Side by side going through turn 3. Fogelman dives it in deep. Here comes Caleb Rose down to the low side. Perez is going to lose 2 positions here going on to the front straightaway. White flag is out one more time around the Pocono Raceway. Reggie Fogelman 2.5 miles away from his first win. Fogelman has got 2 hungry Pacific Racing drivers right behind him as he begins to pull away just a little bit there from Caleb Rose. Rose trying to have a good run here, going down Long Pond for the final time this afternoon. Fogelman widening it out, his lead there in that 3 machine. It might be a battle for second. Rose might have one more opportunity going around the corner. Here comes Perez down to the low side. It's going to be a battle for second place. But up front, Reggie Fogelman. CPR has been HOT hot over the last couple of weeks. Coming off the final corner, Reggie Fogelman gets his first win here at the Pocono Raceway. How about that? The 3-car is in victory lane here at the Tricky Triangle. It's another heartbreak for Pacific Racing, who goes second and third. And for the first time in program history, Chevy Power Racing will get 3 of their cars in Gatorade victory lane. It is their 4th win of the season in 16 races, their 2nd win in a row, their 3rd win in a month. And how about that for Fogelman, taming the Tricky Triangle here. He's able to get the job done. Braden Perez, half a second short. For Reggie Fogelman, the Houston, Texas native, will become yet another driver to win here in the Mission Barbecue Cup Series, becomes the 62nd different driver to win here at the Cup level. We take a look at the official race standings. Reggie Fogelman gets the job done here at the Pocono Raceway. Braden Perez dominated this race, but he just finishes 1 position short here in the 92. Caleb Rose is 3rd. Esteban Lasser will take the points lead going into the Duncan Week of Speed with a good top 5 run for that Schweppes number 64 car, and Nathan Stapleton will round out the top 5 here in that 97. Thompson, Hubert, Fitzwater, Gutierrez, and Miller round out the top 10. And take a look at that 6th through 10th. Where the heck was Fitzwater all afternoon long? Same thing for Gutierrez and Miller. Sampson, Barreto, Marsh, Case, and Bouchard, your top 15. Only 1 car failed to finish. That was Thomas Troxel, who brought out the final caution of this race, but I think Reggie Fogelman would have likely gotten around Braden Perez before this is all said and done anyway. So it was a damned if you do, damned if you don't there, unfortunately, for Braden Perez. But for Reggie Fogelman, for Chevy Power Racing, Coca-Cola, and Chevrolet, the Bowties get yet another win this season. And Fogelman will get win number 1 here of his MBCS career. And he's going to take that momentum going into the Duncan Week of Speed. He is one of the many drivers here in the field that is racing all 7 of those races here in 2 weeks' time. But that's going to do it here from the Pocono Raceway. Congratulations once again to Reggie Fogelman for winning the Jack Frost Big Boulder Ski Resort 400. We're going to take a break for the next 2 weeks, and we'll kick things off in about 2 weeks' time for the Duncan Week of Speed with a doubleheader at the Hillside International Speedway. The Duncan 400 at Hillside airs at noon Eastern on Sunday, June 29th, with the Baskin-Robbins 310 airing later on that evening at 8 o'clock Eastern. Both those races on the NASRN on June 29th. That'll kick things off for the 7th race of the regular season, or the 7 races ran in a week here on the NASRN. 5 at the Cup level, 2 Grand Touring, and it's going to be a whale of fun here for everybody here on the North American Sim Racing Network. But good morning, good afternoon, and good night, ladies and gentlemen. Here are both your Duncan Week of Speed bracket and point standings after race number 16 of the 2025 NBCS season. And from Long Pond, Pennsylvania, on behalf of the North American Sim Racing Network, my name is Trey Wright. Have a great weekend, folks. We'll see y'all in 2 weeks up in the Bay State.